Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another Jets Media live stream. And today is Victory Monday. It's the third Victory Monday that we can celebrate this year. And I'll be soaking this up. You guys know me. When the Jets win, the vibes are high. I don't care if we're 3-8 and then we're not going to the playoffs or anything. Wins are sacred in this league, especially as a Jets fan. So I'm excited to recap the game where the Jets came out with a victory. I'm excited to get into the chat, hear your guys' thoughts of what the Jets got in store yesterday. We saw Zach Wilson return to action. We saw the defense finally take a big step forward. And we got a lot of things to recap. We got some players having career games like John Franklin Myers. We have a running back in Austin Walter getting his first career NFL touchdown. It's an awesome story to get into. And I'm just really excited to talk about a Jets victory because, like I said, it is sacred. It's been a really busy couple days for me. As you guys know, I'm also a diehard Mets fan. I have a Mets YouTube channel, and they just went out there and signed Max damn Scherzer. I just recorded my video for that if you guys want to check me out. And the Knicks made a big-time move today. So I've been busy all day long, and I had to make sure I go live today with my fellows Ali and Jack because there's so much happening in New York sports, especially with my three teams. So we'll start off with you, Ali. How you doing today? How you feeling on this Victory Monday?
I mean, it wasn't the greatest win, but it was a win for the New York Jets. I'm just happy to finally be on the other side of not the loss column, but the win column this week. It was a gritty win. We saw some positives and a lot of negatives for the New York Jets, but at least we were able to see some young guys ball out and learn from this mistake, especially Zach Wilson. So, I mean, it wasn't the best win, but the Jets got the win on the road, and that's their first road win. And that's first Robert Saleh road win as a New York Jets head coach.
Yeah, man. I think the motto of this one is a win is a win. Jack, how you feel, my man, on Victory Monday?
I feel good, man. Similar to Ali, it's not the greatest performance from a football team I've ever seen, but a win is a win, man, as you just put it. So I'm feeling all right. The only thing that kind of stunk a little bit about yesterday was Zach Wilson still is a giant question mark for me. But we'll get into that as the stream rolls on for sure. But hey, man, we got a win on the road. As Ali said, first road win of Robert Saleh's head coaching career. And we did not drop to 2-9. The Houston Texans dropped to 2-9, and we are now 3-8. So I'm just so glad we won this game. This had trap game written all over for it, even though we're a shitty team, if not arguably worse than the Texans as well. But it's still just we should have won this game for sure, and we did. So I'm just so happy that we didn't blow this game to a really terrible Houston Texans team, and we got it done, man. So I'm feeling all right.
Yeah, man. We go into this game. Both the Jets and the Texans are 2-8. Both teams that are obviously at the bottom of the NFL. The Texans were coming off a very impressive victory over the first-place Titans at the time. Their defense has been really good all year, even though the Texans have been losing a lot of games. They're a team that has been playing pesky defense, and Tyrod Taylor is a veteran quarterback that knows how to play in this league, and I knew that this was not going to be an easy victory on the road. They're going to have to earn this one, and the Jets, they did not beat themselves. They did not shoot themselves in the foot, something that they did against the Dolphins last week. The penalties were not there. They did not make any big-time mistakes. And they won this game because of defense. And that's so refreshing to me personally because the defense has been really lackluster the past couple of weeks. The first 4 weeks of the season, the defense was absolutely remarkable. We're like, whoa, this defense is way better than we expected. We thought the defense was not going to be good because Carl Lawson went down, all these injuries. But the Jets, and then in the middle of the season, the defense went to crap, giving up historical, terrible performances. And then the Jets got back to the roots. They go up against a bad Houston Texans team, and they take care of business. And it's led by John Franklin Myers having a career game. Oh my gosh, what a performance from JFM. Some people were concerned. We gave him an extension. People were like, oh, we shouldn't have signed him. Too much money, overpay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like people are so impulsive and reactive off like 2 or 3 games. Like John Franklin Myers will be fine. He's an absolute stud. And this game, he was a difference maker. He had a game-changing interception, 2 sacks, a couple tackles for losses, and then going all over the defense. If you want to talk about them individually, Quinnen Williams getting a sack, Quincy Williams getting a sack and leading the team with just all the energy you want. Even Ronald Blair gets a sack for the Jets. Bryce Hall, he got beat deep on a Brandon Cooks touchdown, but then when it mattered the most, he clamped him up and got the game-winning pass deflection. Even the 2 safeties, Ashton Davis and Elijah Riley. These 2 guys look good yesterday. Elijah Riley is low-key looking like a pretty good piece for the Jets, finding him midway through the season. And then getting into the Jets offense, Zach Wilson, obviously that's going to be the talk of the stream and the talk of the Jets. He returns the action. First time we saw some action from Zach Wilson in 4 weeks. He goes out there, the first drive, he gets the ball because John Franklin Myers sets him up. The run game was working, and they unable to get into the end zone. And then Zach Wilson throws an interception, and that interception was definitely a head scratcher. At first, it looked like way worse than it was. But then, honestly, if you rewatch the replay of the interception and you watch in slow motion, Ty Johnson was looking at Zach as he flicked it. And right when the ball left his hands, for whatever reason, Ty Johnson turned around. So it looked like Zach Wilson in real time threw it to someone that wasn't looking at him. But Ty Johnson was anticipating Zach Wilson to run, so he turned around and tried to block. So it's just a simple miscommunication, but that's something you want to see Zach Wilson learn from is protect the football. Try not to do something like that. But Zach Wilson, the first half, he definitely looked bad. Was really shaky at first, was shaking off a lot of rust, missing some easy throws, overthrowing stuff, putting a little too much juice on it. But what stood out the most for me personally of Zach Wilson is, the second half numbers, he was a game manager. He helped this team go down there, get back-to-back 8-play drives. He converted on a 4th and 6 to Keelan Cole, which is ginormous. He had that awesome touchdown run, which we found out today that actually it wasn't even a read option. It was supposed to be a handoff to the running back, but Zach Wilson kept it himself and was athletic enough to make 2 people miss and cut up the field and get in the end zone. So Zach Wilson did not have the greatest game by any means. There's still a lot of question marks surrounding him, but I will say that it was good to see Zach Wilson get calm, cool, collected in the second half and be a game manager, protect the football, not try to do too much, making the 3rd down to 4th down conversions when you needed the most. And the one thing that's the biggest positive yesterday in terms of the offense is the running game. The run game was absolutely phenomenal. The Jets offensive line was paving the way for Tevin Coleman, Ty Johnson, and Austin Walter, who is a really fun player to talk about. And then the Jets receiver stepped up. Shout out to Braxton Berrios, even Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole on a clutch play. So overall, man, I like what I'm seeing. Definitely not the most prettiest win of them all, but I'll take a win, man. On the road against a team like the Texans, or both on the even ground, a win is a win. The Jets defense was the difference maker in this one. Late in the second half, we gave up 0 points, actually 0 points in total in the second half. So that was phenomenal. So let's talk about Zach Wilson to start off, because that's definitely the main topic, I would say. So Zach Wilson comes back. He has a rushing touchdown. He finished with around 140-something yards and an interception. And he really statistically was way better in the second half than the first half. We want to see him get better in the first half because that was the same exact situation, problems he had in the first part of the season. So Ali, what was your thoughts about Zach Wilson? What are you seeing from him? What do you want him to work on? Because obviously there's a lot of things that he needs to work on. Me personally, I just feel like what's going wrong with Zach is he doesn't have his confidence. He doesn't have his swagger right now that we saw in BYU, where he's overthinking a little bit too much, where he just it's in his head. And you're seeing him being indecisive with the ball, and I'll get deeper into my thoughts about it. But I want to hear your thoughts about Zach Wilson, Ali.
It's pretty simple. It's just different quarterbacks have different times of panning out in the NFL. This is not BYU. This is not college football anymore. It's gonna take him some time. Like we're still trying to figure out who Zach Wilson is as an NFL quarterback. We know he can do the big plays. We love seeing him do that. But he still isn't able to do the smaller things. He's not able to do what the checkdowns that Joe Flacco did. He doesn't know how to move the ball consistently. But we saw that a little bit in the second half. In the first half, we didn't see any of that. We saw poor decisions after poor decisions. And then, in the second half, it looked like a little bit more of what he was trying to do. He was looking at his check down receiver, and sometimes that's how we got the first down. That one to Ryan Griffin when we were in the Texan territory, it was third down. He get it to Ryan Griffin, give him a chance to get the first down. It was a check down. He didn't have to go over the chain. Just trust your guy to catch the ball and move the chains. And I think that's what he started to do in the second half. The first half, he did not do that at all. He's still a guy that's trying to learn, how to play at this level. I think he's just a completely different, from BYU to the NFL. He's just and not the greatest team around him. He has young talent, but not the most experienced players around him. He's trying to learn with this coaching staff himself. So I'm not really, um, you know, yes, there is a concern there for Wilson, but right now there's nothing to be worried about because he only has played about 6 games. It's still he's still a rookie. He's still trying to learn, and the rest of the season, we just got to see if he can progress a little bit more each and every week. But right now, Zach Wilson, you know, we know he has athletic ability. He rushed for a touchdown yesterday. Like you said earlier, I saw that tweet too that he was thinking about that was gonna be a run play in the red zone, but he audibled it and got himself, and because he saw the defense, and if he's seeing defenses now and he can understand defenses a little bit better now, that's something to look. That's a positive for Zach Wilson. That's a positive for us Jets fans to take from Zach Wilson to see if he can develop on that, get better with that. And I think he is getting a little bit better than what we thought. Yeah, he was breaking off a lot of rust yesterday, a lot of rust. You saw that on his throws. You saw all this. It was just not there, like fully. And then he also got hit hard again, and he was out. It looked like he was gonna not make it back on the football field. Like there's still a lot of things, but that dumb interception that he had, like he should have just kept it, and it should have just kept it and rushed it. It was a 3rd and 17. There was no point of it tossing like that and putting the ball in the air. Just tuck it and see what you can do with it. And then you should have just gone down and had a punt because then Houston has amazing field position to score points. So those are the little things that he needs to, look at. But I saw a lot more like very good decision plays by him. And I think that kind of goes with LaFleur making the plays for him where he could succeed a little bit more in the second half. And we saw that proceed, and then that's how we scored points, and that's how we won the ball game. So I think as of Zach Wilson progression, there's still a lot to watch. But from the second half, if he can build off that second half that he had into Philadelphia this week, that's the positive for the Jets team.
Yeah, I agree, man. There was a lot of things that Zach Wilson, was shaking off the rust. He still doesn't look comfortable out there, and we're hopeful that he can, stack up these days. And he has 6 games left to hopefully, finish off the season on a high note. Before I get your thoughts, Jack, on Zach Wilson, just want to say shout out to everybody tuning in the chat. I see you guys. Hope you're enjoying your Victory Monday. The Jets got a victory yesterday, so welcome into the stream, guys. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you guys are enjoying the stream. And we're going to get into a Jets Q&A later on in the stream so we can go into the chat and we can really talk about this Jets game. And I want to hear from you guys in the chat as well, so stay tuned for that. Jack, so obviously I know that a lot of Jets fans, including yourself, Zach Wilson's still a big question mark because of his performance yesterday and his performance throughout this entire rookie season. So what did you see from Zach yesterday, and what do you want to see him work on for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it's definitely fair to say that, we really don't know what kind of quarterback we have out of Zach Wilson yet. I mean, he's showed flashes of insane potential. But unfortunately, at this point in the year, he's shown, more flashes of the opposite. So, I'm not writing Zach off by any means whatsoever. He's the quarterback. I want him to succeed. I hope that we finally found our franchise guy after all these years of drafting quarterback after quarterback. But, we just got to see it on the field, man. I mean, he only completed 14 passes. Granted, they only attempted 24 passes, but I believe his rating was like a 58.5. 145 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. I know he did get that touchdown on the ground, which is an impressive play. But, all in all, this was not a good game from Zach Wilson. He did have a much better second half than he did in the first half. But as you put it, Rich, it was more of that, game manager type thing, which is great, which is honestly kind of what we want to see from Zach at this point, right? Because at this point, it seems like there's more things that he needs work on than there are things that he's good at. It seems like he's only really good at this point at, throwing the deep ball down the field, and praying that somebody comes down with it, which we've seen a couple times this year. We've seen, a couple extremely, some extremely difficult throws that take, a high level of skill to make happen. I always think about that one. I believe it was to Keelan Cole in that Titans game in overtime. He was in the pocket, threw it to the left. I think you guys probably remember the play I'm talking about. He's shown flashes like that where you go, wow, this guy's arm talent really is insane. But he's just got to put the pieces together, man. I think you brought up a good point earlier, Rich, when you said his confidence is a little off, because that's especially, I mean, in any sport, but especially in the game of football and especially the quarterback position. I feel like, the mental aspect of the game is harder and more important than, the physical aspect of the game. Playing the quarterback is all about, timing and decision making. And that's, all going on up here. So I think that's just what really needs to improve for Zach. I think he has the physical talents to be great for sure. I don't want to say great. People get iffy when you use that word in sports. So I'll say I think he has the potential to be good, or the skill set to be a very good quarterback. But I just think it's going to be a mental game with him, and it comes down to the fact that we really don't have many people in Zach's ear telling him how to play QB at the professional level, from people that have been in his shoes before. So I understand that the John Beck signing was an interesting one, a welcomed one. I think an overall a good move for the Jets, but I think I'm still kicking myself for not having Flacco throughout the entire offseason, because that would have been a nice voice for Zach to be listening to and watching all season. I just think that here we are, the Mike White era has come and gone. We're back in Zach Wilson land, hoping to see some improvement, and it just hasn't really happened. Now I understand we won the game yesterday, but as I've heard you say multiple times at this point, Rich, our defense was what won us that game yesterday. Our defense and our run game for sure was what won us that game yesterday. But Zach, although he did have a much better second half, I'm just not very sold at this point that he's going to be successful. Now, that's not me saying, bench him, trade him. I'm not being, drastic here. I'm just saying, from the evidence that we've seen on the field so far this year, there's a lot more bad tape than there is good tape on Zach Wilson. So hopefully he can turn it around. He's got some time left this year to kind of flip the script on him. But as of right now, it looks like very iffy for me on Zach Wilson, if I'm being honest.
V-Man with a nice donation, $5. Appreciate the dono as always, V-Man. You are indeed the man. Can we relax with the Wilson is a bust nonsense? It's 6 games in. He missed a month. And besides Jones, what other rookie quarterback is dealing right now? Yeah, V-Man, obviously Jets fans are going to be reactive. They're going to be calling people busts. They're going to be calling people stars. Like, listen, that's how we are as a fan base. People were saying that John Franklin Myers extension was a bust because he had 3 bad games. And now look what he just did. He has 6 total sacks in the year. There's a lot of things that Jets fans are very quick and reactive. And listen, you really can't call Zach Wilson a bust off 6 games, in my opinion. I think that's a little too premature. I feel like we got to get a more sample size to really say that. But at the end of the day, I still don't blame Jets fans to look at Zach Wilson in question mark and say, okay, well, he hasn't really proved to be a guy that can, play at this level consistently. But it's such a small sample size, so it's really hard to justify it. So V-Man, I appreciate the donation. I agree what you said right now, man. Some rookie quarterbacks don't succeed in this league, and it takes a while for them to really get clicking. So my thoughts about Zach Wilson overall, you heard what I had to say, but I really think it's a confidence thing right now, because if you watch his BYU tape, he was, and obviously it's against, lesser competition, all that stuff, but you can see the swagger and the confidence in him, where the anticipation is something that, you need to be able to have at the quarterback position by anticipating the timing and all that stuff. And at BYU, he was like going out there in the field, like in his head, like, yo, I'm literally going to destroy. Like he had the offense in the back of his hand. He knew where his receivers are going to be. He trusted everything in his body. He trusted his arm. And that's why he was succeeding at such a high level. Right now, you can tell that he's indecisive. Like how many times has he tried to throw it and he pump fakes it and he like says, no, maybe I should eat that. And then he takes a sack. Or you see him like with a little happy feet, because I really think that's more mental than anything. And the good thing is I think that comes with time. The more reps you get, the more experience you get in the NFL, especially playing the quarterback position, you're hopeful that will develop over time. And I feel like that's what Zach Wilson needs to work on the most. And I feel like some people say he's not ready right now. He should be benched and he should like learn behind a guy like Joe Flacco. I personally disagree. I think he got his rest. He's sitting back for 4 weeks. Now it's time for him to get some action so we can build on it for the next year. And yeah, maybe he might finish off the season not that good. And he has, he plays like he did against the Texans for the rest of the season, but he still will have, experience, game time experience to learn from and understand what he needs to work on the most in the offseason, because that's the most important, in my opinion, getting Zach Wilson on the field, understanding what he needs to work on, what he doesn't need to, and just really play within the offense. Because, he should have had a touchdown pass to Ryan Griffin, probably his most impressive throw of the day, honestly. Zach Wilson's rolling to his left. If you watch it on film 22, the end zone angle, Zach Wilson threw it across his body on the money to Ryan Griffin in the back of the end zone, and Ryan Griffin just drops it. Like that should have been a touchdown. There's a lot of things that, that happens in that way. But, the best part about yesterday's game is we didn't have to rely on Zach Wilson to do that much in the second half because of how good this offensive line and this running game was working. Tevin Coleman and Ty Johnson and Austin Walter, they were combining for a big-time game, and that's awesome. That's what I wanted this Jets team to be all season long, by having a run game and having a good defense, by protecting your rookie quarterback. That's been the foundation of what I want this Jets team to be doing from week number 1, and that was exactly what we did yesterday. The defense was phenomenal. The run game was phenomenal, and we did not have to ask Zach Wilson to do that much. And all we needed to do is Zach Wilson be a game manager, hit the clutch plays, because, guys, we cannot forget that Robert Saleh went for it on 4th and 6 near midfield. And Zach Wilson, he gave the ball to the rookie quarterback. He said, listen, Zach, we got confidence. 4th and 6, late in the fourth quarter. If they don't get that, the game is completely different. Zach Wilson drops back, steps up in the pocket, fires it to Keelan Cole over the middle for the first down. That was a huge, huge moment for Zach Wilson in particular, and Robert Saleh as the head coach. So I'm really excited that Robert Saleh had that aggressive mindset. And that's really my thoughts about Zach. I feel like he showed poise when it mattered the most, and he was a game manager. But we want to see him string together 4 good quarters instead of just 2 good quarters. And hopefully that will continue throughout the rest of the season. So the next topic I want to talk about is Robert Saleh, because he was impressive to me yesterday. Those going for it on 4th down late in the fourth quarter really stood out to me personally. It showed you the type of head coach that he is. He's not afraid to be aggressive. He's not conservative coach. He's not someone that's going to be like, all right, let's just do this and play it safe here. He wants to go win the game. He has aggressiveness where he wants to punch you in the mouth and not give the Texans any opportunity to go out there and tie the game or take the lead late. And that 4th and 6, obviously you do not want Matt Amendola attempting a 55-yard field goal because he's been terrible all season long. So Saleh goes for it there. And then we have another 4th and short opportunity at the goal line. Well, it was like at the 15-yard line or something. 4th and 1. A beautiful play call from Mike LaFleur. End around to Elijah Moore. Get the ball in your playmaker's hands. They pick up the first down. That tells me a lot about Robert Saleh as a head coach, but he's aggressive. He's not afraid to go for it when you need to late in the fourth quarter. And it also is impressive to me personally about Robert Saleh is the way that the defense played, because the defense has been really bad in the past couple of weeks. And for them to bounce back the way they did, remember, the foundation of this defense is the D-line. And the D-line was unbelievable. 5 sacks. Even Ronald Blair got a sack. 2 sacks from JFM, a sack from Quinnen, and a sack from Quincy Williams. So it's really good to see this defense get back on track. And Robert Saleh had his team prepared. They had a really good game plan. And another big shout out to Mike LaFleur, because that was the first time we see Mike LaFleur with Zach Wilson. He called a great game for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson did everything that he could, but Mike LaFleur, I really feel like he's developing for a legit offensive coordinator, because if you guys remember, we had a lot of question marks about LaFleur earlier on in the season. So it's a good sign to see him progress as the season goes on. So guys, welcome into the stream. If you're new, we got 50 people watching with around 27 likes. If you guys want to smash that thumbs up button, if you're having a good time in here, we would greatly appreciate that, guys. We're just getting started on this Jets Media live stream. We're going to continue talking about the Jets and Texans game yesterday, and then we're going to get into a Jets Q&A later on in the game, later on in the stream. So, Ali, what's your thoughts about head coach Robert Saleh? What did you see from him play calling wise or just game plan wise with his all three units? So what do you think about Robert Saleh?
For the offense perspective of it, I think Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson are like somewhat fighting for each other. I feel like when second half, when the offense was just absolute crap, Zach Wilson came out and made some throws. He moved the ball, he moved the chains, and that the playing of him in the second half rewarded Zach Wilson to take that fourth down play, and he trusts his quarterback. That kind of shows the progression of your young rookie quarterback and your young rookie head coach. He pretty much went to the locker room not doing well. Zach Wilson did not play well at all in the first half, at all, and even some plays in the second half. But he made enough plays to get the trust in his coach to go in that fourth down, because that's a play that dictates a football game, that fourth down attempt, because you're almost at midfield. If you don't get it, Houston has a short field to get to field goal range and possibly a touchdown. So, just trusting his quarterback and those two just connecting for honestly the first time I've seen is pretty remarkable, and that's a good step in the progress for both guys, especially the coaching staff. The defense finally did what they had to do. They were pretty much the reason why we were in this football game from the first half. Tyrod Taylor, we all know he holds onto the ball way too long, and I think the Jets defense just took advantage of that. We saw all these guys getting sacked, tackles, CJ Mosley great in coverage. So all these guys came to play, and I think that goes for coaching, because the coaching staff, after being blown out last week, they came out firing. They came out with a fight, and that's the thing with this team. They have fight. They do have fight, even if they lose by a lot. You can see on the field that all of the guys are just trying. That just means we just need more talented players on the team, but they're showing fight on the football field. So I think finally rewarding the coaching staff with the win, the players with the win, was huge, and that's on the coaching staff building his team and pretty much, getting this W, because they needed this win in the locker room badly after being blown out almost half the games this year. It's good to see Zach Wilson not back out there, and just come back in the second half and work for his coach. His coaching staff is trusting this offense to go out there and get the first down. The trust is very important for any coaching staff, because you don't see Shanahan putting Jimmy Garoppolo out there or something like that. They trust their guys who are out there to make the first down, win this football game. And I think that's kind of what we saw for the first time for this young offense that we have. So, Robert Saleh is doing a great job, man. Mike LaFleur called a great game like he always does. And I saw them finally executing it the right way. So, the coaching staff is, like I said from before when we hired them, this coaching staff is legit.
Yeah, man, I think this coaching staff, we have to realize, is young and rookies just as much as these players. So they're developing over time, and I feel like that they're going to be, going through some bumps in the road, and they went through a lot of bumps, and they're going to continue to go through bumps for the rest of the season. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So, Jack, what was your thoughts about the Jets coaching staff's game plan yesterday, from the top to bottom, whether it's Saleh, Ulbrich, and LaFleur?
I think that, as you just said, Rich, I think that we've, gotten the opportunity this year to see not only these young players develop, but also this coaching staff develop as well. And I mean, Mike LaFleur is the most clear-cut example of that. I mean, Mike LaFleur looked atrocious to start the year. And ever since Robert Saleh put him up in the booth, our offense has looked completely different. And, talking about Robert Saleh now, I really do think that Robert Saleh has the traits to be a successful head coach in this league. I just think, it's a matter of, learning, and it's just a matter of time and just, getting more games under his belt as a head coach. I love the energy and the passion that he brings, but at the same time, there's a lot of things out there to question. Burning 2 timeouts in a row yesterday because you thought you were going to trust your kicker and then you decided against it. By the way, can we at least take a couple seconds to hate on Matt Amendola, because we might have the worst kicker in the world. It's garbage that amazing that we converted it. And I was going to say this when you brought it up, Rich, but I just couldn't get it in there. But amazing that we converted that 4th and 6, but the fact that we attempted that, totally gross, man. Matt Amendola, something needs to be done about that, man. I mean, kickers used to just be fired when they did shit. I don't know why this guy's just sticking around, but whatever. Matt Amendola, that's whatever. But Robert Saleh, little things like that. And in last week's game as well, taking timeouts where it feels like we shouldn't have, we didn't need to, things like that. Just I think there's definitely an adjustment period, as you said, Rich, for these coaches as well as these players. So it's just going to take time for them to develop as well. But I think that, similar to Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh has shown some good things this year and some bad things this year. But I definitely think that he has the traits to be a successful head coach. We know that the players love him and enjoy playing for him, and that's half the battle right there. I really want to believe in Robert Saleh, but there's a lot of things to question. Here we are, 3-8, and we want to be sold on this coaching staff just because we're so disgusted by what we watched for the previous 2 years with Adam Gase and Dowell Loggins at the helm. But as of right now, we're still a terrible team in the bottom 5 of this league. So there's a lot of things to question, but there's some positives as well. And I like the fact that we have, as I said, earlier in my little spiel here, that we've seen it progress throughout the season, because that shows that they're learning and that they're developing as coaches, because Jeff Ulbrich, Robert Saleh, and Mike LaFleur are 3 guys that have never been in the position that they're in now. Jeff Ulbrich was the interim coordinator in Atlanta. So I just think that they have come a long way, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the coaching staff has been progressing as of late, and we're hopeful that they can continue this. And at the end of the year, we have confidence in this coaching staff going into year number 2 with this regime. My favorite part about this Jets coaching staff in particular is that they're so committed to the young players on this roster. That's the biggest difference from my perspective when it comes to this entire Jets team currently, is that they're not going the short-term route by playing the veterans for that flash in the pan. Let's just win a couple games, try to make the playoffs this year with veterans. Instead, they're letting the young kids play. We have the most rookies getting playing time in the league. We have the youngest team in the league. We've never really had that type of mindset where the ownership is being patient. And they knew going into the season that we're not going to be competing. We're not going to be trying to win the AFC East. We're probably going to be a bottom 5 team in the league when you play this many rookies. And I knew that going into the year. So I give all the kudos in the world to the Jets' commitment to the youth movement, because first of all, the Jets draft class from 2021 has been balling out all year long, and let's just hope that can continue. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Jets running attack, because it's a really awesome story in undrafted rookie Austin Walter getting the nod, and he got his first career touchdown of his life. He was with the Jets throughout training camp. He got injured in preseason, so we didn't really get to see him a lot in preseason, and the Jets waived him. The Jets signed him back to the practice squad a couple weeks ago, and he gets elevated because of the injury to Michael Carter, and he goes out there and looks pretty damn good. He has some juice. He has some some energy in him, where I would not be shocked if he gets a lot of carries against the Eagles coming up. Tevin Coleman looked like a very good, savvy veteran running back. I feel like he's awesome to fill in the void for Michael Carter as well. And even Ty Johnson, that one play that he had, it was 3rd and 29. It was a delayed handoff, and he takes it for 25 yards, which sets up easy field goal for Matt Amendola. That was a really big play. So all 3 running backs looked really good yesterday without Michael Carter. That's a very good sign that we have that next man up mentality, and the offensive line is making a big, big step forward when it comes to the running attack. So, Ali, what was your thoughts about the running game? Because, without the running game yesterday, I don't know if we come out with this victory. That was the biggest selling point of how this Jets really gritted out a dub. And I love that they're really getting back to their roots and trying to run the ball, and it's actually been working.
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, Tevin Coleman was supposed to be the running back one for the New York Jets, but Michael Carter obviously did what he did throughout the season. But the Jets have solid running backs. It's there's no denying that the running game. But obviously, it starts with the offensive line. The offensive line has done such a great job in the rushing attack that's helped these guys move. I saw runs for 19 yards, 24 yards, 13 yards. These guys had, it wasn't like just 5 yard gains. It was big chunk gains for these running backs, and they were finding the holes, and that was because of the offensive line. So you have talented running backs, and you have a good offensive line opening up lanes. That's huge for an offense. Just keep moving the chains and helping a young quarterback. I mean, with Walter, man, that was out of nowhere. It was absolutely out of nowhere. It was a homecoming for him. He was from the area. He had family there. He had people he said that he knew from college and high school working at the stadium. So he was like, it was a surreal moment. He didn't know until Saturday that he will be playing activated and then scoring a touchdown in Houston. That's probably a huge moment for this guy. I mean,
And he's from Houston.
it's not, yeah, it's insane. And he dedicated to his mom and dad and all that stuff afterwards, which was pretty awesome to see. But he's a spark plug, pretty much. That's what Robert Salah said about him. He's a spark plug. He's a guy that he has quickness, he has burst, and he can make big plays happen for you. And we saw that happen because he was in the end zone. And you saw that one play where he would just burst for like a 13-yard gain for a first down. He was ready to play. To see him succeed like that, especially in an actual football game, was unreal to see. So, and then with Ty Johnson, we all know what to expect from Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson, we saw him last year. We saw him succeed with him late in the season. And then whenever he goes out there, he produces. I mean, he's averaged 7 yards a carry. That's what else can you ask? Tevin Coleman had 4 yards a carry. So the running game is there. Even with Michael Carter out, they were moving the chains. And it's a bright thing to see for the Jets that we're seeing that the Jets have a run game. I really haven't seen a run game since like maybe Chris Ivory, and like Bilal Powell, those two guys. And so if we're moving the ball consistently, the rushing, helps a lot, especially the young quarterback. So having that rushing attack is absolutely amazing for the Jets' future and just to help this offense move the chains.
Yeah, I think the running attack is something I'm looking forward to the most to see if that can continue for the rest of the season, because that's only going to help out Zach Wilson more than ever. There's nothing more you can do to help out a rookie quarterback than establishing a run game and having a really good defense. Because if you have a defense that can flip field position like John Franklin-Myers did, shout out to JFM, then it really does help out the rookie quarterback. So, Jack, what was your thoughts about the Jets running attack in the absence of the rookie sensation Michael Carter? We had undrafted player who is Austin Walter. He's been in the league for I think this is year number 3. He was undrafted. He was in San Francisco for his first 2 seasons, so he knows this playbook like the back of his hand. And he went out there and got in the end zone. We saw what Ty Johnson and Tevin Coleman did, and especially the offensive line up front, I think was the most important part to this running attack. So what was your impressions, what this Jets team looked like without Michael Carter in the run game?
Yeah, well, it's definitely, I'll start off by saying it's such a shame that Michael Carter went down, man. I mean, it's just proof that we really can't have any nice things, man. In a lost season already, one of the few bright spots goes down in Michael Carter. But we'll get him back before the end of the year, and he'll be back, making people miss in the backfield again. But the phrase we used all offseason was running back by committee, right? We've heard that hundreds of times. All over Twitter, on YouTube, everywhere in Jetsland, running back by committee. And that's exactly what we got, man. I mean, with Michael Carter down, who's been our best running back all year, an undrafted guy in Austin Walter steps up and plays a great game. A veteran in Tevin Coleman steps up and plays a great game. And then Ty Johnson as well is, kind of just a chess piece at running back. You plug him in when you need him, and it seems like he'll always be semi-productive, at least. I feel like he's another just a solid body to have out there. So even with Michael Carter out, man, these running backs are stepping up. And credit to the offensive line as well, man, because that's obviously where the run game begins and ends, is up front at the offensive line. So they didn't have their greatest day in terms of protecting Zach Wilson when he dropped back to pass. I believe Zach was sacked 4 times yesterday. But, on the ground, what'd you say? We had like 130 total yards on the ground or something yesterday? Yeah, so that's great, man. I mean, 3 different running backs getting involved. And it was just good to see that, we're getting back to some classic New York Jets run it down your throat style football because, I don't want to say unfortunately, but, that's kind of where we're at now. We kind of, need to baby Zach Wilson, it seems like, into getting back into this offense. So thank God that our running game is, has been productive for the, the last stretch of a few games at least. Because it's good to see, man, because that's obviously, we know that that's where this particular offensive scheme, starts with the run game and the play action and all that type of stuff, the run game leading into the play action. So, got to ease Zach back into the starting role. So it's good to see that we can grab 130 plus yards on the ground. And good for Austin Walter, man. Awesome story. Listen to his press conference after the game, talking about his father and his mother and just how supportive they've been, throughout his whole his time as a football player. So it was cool to hear. Good story. And, they really helped us get the W at the end of the day. So shout out to the running backs and shout out to the offensive line in their run blocking.
For sure, man. We had a really good day on the ground. Outside of the running backs, even the quarterbacks got involved. Zach Wilson's touchdown run was phenomenal. We all heard what happened. That call was not supposed to be a read option. Zach Wilson kept it himself. He read the defense. He got in there. And then shout out to Josh Johnson being subbed in on a 2-point conversion. And then he got in there on the ground as well. So the quarterbacks, the running backs, the offensive line, they all deserve a lot of credits. Even the wide receivers did their job in the run blocking. So overall, a really good day when it comes to the Jets on the ground. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the defense because the defense was phenomenal yesterday. Outside of a couple bad plays, that touchdown to Brandon Cooks, Bryce Hall was draped all over him, got called for a pass interference, and they ended up getting that touchdown. And Tyrod Taylor just went off in the second quarter. But what mattered the most to me is we were able to contain the Houston Texans in the second half. They gave up 0 points. And the Jets defense was super impressive to me, man. I feel like the defensive line was just phenomenal. They were getting to the quarterback with ease. They were stopping the run. Quincy Williams looks like the gem of the entire season so far. Joe Douglas just, I guess, Joe Douglas in free agency is but waiver wire, he is a monster. I mean, John Franklin Myers, Braxton Berrios, Ty Johnson, and now add Quincy Williams to that. That like negates all free agency, and waiver is like so much more cheap than any free agent signing you ever have to make. So shout out to Joe Douglas because Quincy Williams looks like he needs to be a Jet for life with Quinnen Williams because both of those brothers were synchronized on a sack. They were just so fun to watch. Bryce Hall, when it mattered the most, man-to-man coverage, 4th down, late in the 4th quarter, sticky man-to-man coverage, gets the pass breakup, game over. Shout out to Bryce Hall after having a shaky first part of the game. When it mattered the most, he got the job done. And the Jets defense was really impressive to me, man. Obviously, we're going up against a bad Houston Texans team. We have to keep that in perspective. So it's not that impressive by shutting down a team like that. But it's a really good sign because this Jets defense needs confidence in order to continue the trajectory that they're on. And CJ Mosley also had a really good game as well. So I'm going to flip it back to you, Jack, actually. What was your thoughts about the defense? John Franklin Myers having the game of his life. Quinnen Williams, Quincy Williams, the Jets D-line all the way back to the secondary. What are your thoughts about this Jets defense overall as a unit?
Yeah, I mean, these guys came to play, man. It wasn't perfect, as you said, but it's rarely, if ever, going to be perfect, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You're going to give up a good drive at some point. You're going to give up a touchdown at some point. So these guys really just held their own yesterday. And it's not against, an elite offense. It's against the Houston Texans. But to see these guys, do well against a team that they should do well against, it was just like, it was a big sigh of relief, because this defense has been stressing us the hell out for the last month or so. We're wondering, do we have a good defense? Do we not have a good defense? The first month of the season was sick. The second month of the season sucked. And now here we are in like defensive purgatory, you know, like we have no idea what to expect from this defense on a weekly basis. Sometimes our defensive front can show up and absolutely wreck an opposing offensive line like they did yesterday, or sometimes they can do absolutely nothing like they did in the game 2 weeks ago. So, it's really kind of hit or miss at this point with this defense. But yesterday in particular, everybody was just on the money, man. Quincy Williams is the waiver pickup of the century. You're totally right, man. Joe Douglas's free agent signings have not really been that great so far, but his waiver claims are elite, man. Joe Douglas is the I'm saying this now, the best waiver general manager in the history of the National Football League. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but Quincy Williams is a beast, man. I call him a missile every time I see him play because it feels like he has no regard for his own safety or anybody else's safety, like whatsoever, man. He's just sprinting full speed, and he's going to hit you as hard as he can every time. And he's not going to make the play every time, but the majority of the time, he's there, and he's going to make the play. And he's just been proving it week after week now. So, he's an individual player. I don't know if I have confidence in this defense as a whole based on what they've shown us over the past month. But, individual players, Quincy Williams has my full confidence for sure. Quinnen Williams has my full confidence for sure. Bryce Hall, although he had a bad play yesterday, it would have been either a pass interference, half a distance to the goal on the one or whatever, or a touchdown as it was. So he had one bad play yesterday that really stuck out. But he also had the game sealing pass deflection. So, it's the yin and the yang, So Bryce Hall is another player that has my confidence. CJ Mosley, obviously. One thing that upsets me about this defense is that I guess Jared Davis just kind of stinks, right? He's the kind of a guy that we had to talk ourselves into anyway. Like, oh, he was, didn't work out for the Lions, but he'll probably be sick for us. No, I guess Jared Davis just kind of stinks, but it's whatever, man, because we got Quincy Williams, who's the waiver pickup of the century. So I'm, this defense is very hit or miss, but as of right now, we can only really discuss yesterday's game. So they were on point yesterday.
JFM, though? JFM might even win Defensive Player of the Week in the NFL. What are your thoughts about his game yesterday?
I mean, that the reason why I probably didn't even mention him is because I'd missed the first quarter of the game yesterday when he had his, play of the game, that tipped up interception run back. So I missed that, but yeah, I mean, that incredible play, forced a turnover, picked it off himself, ran it back 20 yards. And then, the 2 sacks on top of it. I believe he had, a couple tackles for loss as well. I think the stat sheet said like 3 total tackles or something like that. Either way, how you slice it, a very productive, great game from John Franklin Myers, man, because he was starting to worry me a little bit because ever since he got the bag, and it's not like he got a crazy bag, but he got paid. He's got set up for the future. He's a very happy man. And then he kind of vanished a little bit for a couple weeks after that. It's like, what the hell happened to John Franklin Myers? Where is he on the stat sheet? But he played pretty well last week in a game of defensive struggles. He did play pretty well statistically last week. And then this week, he maybe had the game of his career. I mean, he definitely had the game of his career with an interception and 2 sacks. So, that's great to see, man. And thank you for bringing that up because I forgot about it because I missed the freaking first quarter.
And the 2 stats I want to bring up real quick is Quinnen Williams and John Franklin Myers. They both have 6 sacks apiece. You know how hard it is for defensive tackles to get sacks in this league? And they both have 6 apiece. Well, JFM's playing edge and D-tackle because of all the injuries we have to this edge rusher position. But we got men.
Can I just say something real quick?
Of course.
If we use our first-round pick on an edge rusher and we can just solidify Franklin Myers as a tackle, which is like where he should be, and we have what's that dude's name? And there's another one. I was going to say there's another one now because Thibodeau's the one we were talking about the other day, but I was thinking Hutchinson because now there's 2 names.
Like projected going 1. Hutchinson is. That can all change though.
Yeah, we'll see. But if we can get one of those guys on the edge opposite a healthy Carl Lawson and Quinnen and John Franklin Myers on the interior, and then obviously for like a run stopping down, you'll bring in like a Foley Fatukasi or somebody like that, That's disgusting, man. We just need to solidify this edge presence. It's there sometimes it's not. We need an edge presence that's going to be there week after week, consistently getting to the quarterback. And then I think it's over because this defense is like one really, really good edge presence away from like being elite. I really do feel that way. The cornerbacks prove it week after week all year. The linebackers, Quincy Williams has come a long way. We obviously know who CJ Mosley is. And this defensive front, when they're on, but it's just an inconsistency factor. So if we get that consistent edge presence, better yet, two of them, it's done.
Yeah,
it's
man.
done.
That's what we've been waiting for. And of course, Bryce Huff had to go down, and that was the guy where hopefully that can develop into a real guy in the absence of Carl Lawson. So, Ali, let's hear your thoughts about this entire defense individually, what you saw from each player and them as a unit. What really impressed you the most from Jeff Ulbricht's defense?
They have heart. That's the thing about this defense. They have heart. They have speed. They're ready to go. The other Jets defenses I've seen we saw laziness. We saw people giving up on plays. This defense is not like that. And starting with John Franklin Myers, man, he played out of his mind. And kind of shut down all the rumors, all these random comparisons to Muhammad Wilkerson and all this stuff. He kind of just canceled that out yesterday. It was also special because he had like 50, 60 friends and family at the stadium. I think he was also homecoming for him too. So playing out of his mind, getting his first interception, getting 2 sacks. One of the sacks, Tyrod literally just landed in his lap. That was pretty much his sack. But he was very effective yesterday, and we saw that, he was getting to the quarterback, and that's kind of what we wanted to see from Jonathan Franklin Myers. It wasn't that he disappeared. I think as an overall defense, they just went downhill together, and John Franklin Myers also went downhill. So I think the last 2-3 weeks he has shown up. He's done some work, and we've seen him flash here and there. But having this big type of game, I think he should be not like allowed to be like, no one's going to talk about him for the rest of the year. Anything bad about him because of this one game that he had. As an overall defense, I think the defense played pretty well. I think that's the reason we won this football game. I think that's why we were in this football game, especially CJ Mosley. CJ Mosley had a couple great defensive plays. There's a pass deflected that he had that was absolutely insane. He went back in coverage and had a really good on a receiver. So, and then Quincy Williams, obviously, he's just an animal. He's just a guy that you literally see everywhere on the football field. It's kind of like what we saw from that 7-sack game that they had. You saw everyone involved. You saw everyone in the same space. Everyone was running across the field. Everyone was getting there. This defense is not lazy. This defense is ready to play. They're young. They're energized. They're ready to. They're trying to prove everyone wrong. The secondary is still a little bit iffy. With Dunn not playing great. Bryce Hall had his issues, but he made some nice plays in the end to seal the game for us. But in Ashton Davis, we still don't really know about Ashton Davis. I do like Elijah Riley a lot. I think the Jets feel like they have someone in him. That's why they picked him up and brought him, because obviously Joe Douglas knows him a little bit when he was in Philly. So he brought a familiar guy in, and they think they have someone in him as either a backup or possible starter when they need someone goes down. But Elijah Riley played his heart out yesterday too. I saw him from like the safety position come all the way through and make a nice tackle at the line of scrimmage. So, these guys are just playing lights out right that game. They played lights out. Sheldon Rankins did some stuff. Quinton Williams did some stuff. Blair did some stuff. Michael Carter did some stuff. Although Michael Carter scared us with the injury, but he did come back. So overall, good performance from the defense. I think, again, that's the reason we won this game, and we were in this game the entire way through. And it kind of helped the defense. So the defense kind of bailed the offense out this week. But it's just they have heart. They have this for Ulbrich purposes. I think this game had to happen for him because he was struggling mightily, and everyone was calling for his name. They needed something like this to happen for him. So, I mean, lights out. They got some players. They got a lot of injuries and stuff. But these guys are a group of guys that have resilience and are ready to come out and play ball.
Yeah, man. Big time positive for the Jets defense. Hopefully it's a good step in the right direction. So, guys, before we finish off the stream, we're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A. Anybody in the chat that wants to talk to Elite, us three, let us know. I'm even be answering some callers. So I'm going to put the link to the stream in the chat. So if you guys want to join in and talk to us, ask away any questions, feel free to do so. I'm going to put that in the chat now. Hold on one second. So the link was just posted. I'll pin it at the top. So if you guys want to click on that link and join in the show and ask us any questions, you don't have to put your camera on. You can just be like a voice thing if you want, or if you want to just ask us questions in the chat, that's great as well. So let us know, man. I see some people talking about what's going on with the Jets draft. Yeah, so we're just going to be live for like 20-something minutes, nothing too crazy. Jack's going to skedaddle here. Ali, are you able to go as well, or do you want to stay for just a little bit? You both have to go?
I can stay for a little bit.
All right, Jack's going to head out of here. Jack,
Yeah,
we appreciate you joining in. Anything you want to say before we let you go?
I got to head out. I got to get ready to go to dinner. But thank you, as always, to all you guys in the chat and to you boys as well. It's always a pleasure. It's always a fun little therapy session. And we're coming off of a win, man. So this is a Victory Monday, baby. So thank you guys, as always, for supporting the channel and for joining the stream. And I'll catch you guys later. Enjoy the rest of it.
All right, see you,
All
Jack.
right, man. We appreciate you.
Let's go, Max Scherzer, LFGM.
Yes, sir, baby. Love it. All right, so first caller, Elliot. What's good, buddy?
Hurry up.
Yo,
Hey, what's
Elliot,
up?
can you hear me?
What's up?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good.
What do you like?
I was just wondering what you guys would consider to be a successful season for Zach from here on out. Realistically, what we should expect.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think expectations and what would be considered a successful season, I feel like, are two different questions. So to start off, I'll say what I want to see from Zach, if we want to make this a successful season for him in particular, is build on that second half yesterday and just become a player that shows confidence. I feel like that's the one thing that you guys heard me talk about in the stream over and over and over again. I want to see Zach Wilson get to his BYU ways where he just goes out there and he just exuberates confidence. He has that swagger to him. I feel like that's what we're missing from him. So if he can end off the season and he has a couple good games, like, listen, there's 6 games left. If we can get at least 3 or 2 of those 6 games where we see everything clicking for him and he just starts slinging the rock, he's not relying on the off-schedule stuff. He's hitting his, intermediate routes. He's hitting everything he's supposed to do, and he ends off the season strong. I feel like that's what's going to end up being a successful season. Statistics aside, like touchdowns, interceptions aside, like I just want to see Zach really develop into an actual quarterback with confidence, because that's the one thing I feel like he's been lacking so far this season. How about you, Ali?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. It's more of, figuring out how to read defenses, figuring out how to keep the turnovers down, just making better decisions. If he can start doing that for the rest of the season, I think that's a win for us, because he just hasn't done that yet. He needs to learn how to play boring football. He needs to learn how to move the chains, know what the situation is, because that interception should have not happened. He should have kept the ball in his hand. So those type of things he needs to fix up, because those type of mistakes are ways you get benched and you stay on the sidelines. So if he continues that, obviously it's rookie year, so we're not going to say anything much about that. But if he's doing that in his second, third year, those type of passes, he will get benched for doing that. So he needs to learn how to secure the ball, read the defenses a little bit, and just learn how to move the chains without making a terrible turnover and not always thinking about the big play. So I think he just needs to develop a little bit more.
I agree, man. Elliot, we appreciate you joining in the stream, buddy. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
No, that was great, and I really appreciate the show. So,
of course, man. Appreciate you, Elliot. Have a good night, my man. Let's go,
You too.
Jets. All right, next caller is the loyal fan of the show. I met him in person. He's the one and only Dan S. What's good, buddy?
Yo,
What up, Dan? How you feeling on this
What's
Victory
good?
Monday, bro?
Dude, I feel great. I know a lot of people feel like okay, or some people are upset. I feel great. I thought the defense balled, and offense struggled, but we got it done. So a win's a win.
A win is a win, man. I knew that you were going to come on here with that optimistic mindset. I know you're always
Absolutely.
aligned with my type of thinking. So anything you want to ask in particular about the Jets game? Or you just want to come
Nothing
on
in
here
particular. I just want to say, like, constantly, I feel like every week, these dudes that JD has picked up on the waiver wire have balled out. I think I put like a list on my Twitter. It's like Ty Johnson, John Franklin Myers, Quincy Williams, Elijah Riley, Timmy Ward have all contributed this year, and they've all been picked up on waivers. So I think that's incredible, especially JFM, like Quincy Williams. So the fact that he was able to get that and recognize talent like that is just gives me even more faith in Joe Douglas. But phenomenal performance from the defense, and especially that Elijah Riley kid. I like that pickup, and these last 2 weeks he's been balling out. So I'm just super excited.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, bro. Earlier on the stream, I was saying like Joe Douglas is an absolute waiver wire machine. He's the waiver god. I think we can agree as Jets fans that Joe Douglas has proved to be a GM in 2 off seasons where free agency is the only thing in question. The trade market has been phenomenal. What Joe Douglas has been able to do of trading players for value is ridiculous, and the waiver wire, and it has been just phenomenal. And then when it comes to the draft, we have 2 drafts under Joe Douglas. The first one was a little iffy. Second one looks like it was a home run. So Joe Douglas has been looking good so far with the GM. Hopefully he can continue that. Dan, always appreciate the support on the channel, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Hope you enjoy your Victory Monday, bro.
Yes, sir. You too, bro.
All right, Dan, have a good one, dog.
You too.
All right, we got King Jet coming in next. What's up, my man? Welcome into the stream. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. How y'all doing today?
We're doing good, my man. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing great after a win.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Jets fan for a long time. I mean, since 1982. And I live down in Florida. So I catch it every week from everybody. And I just want to say Joe is doing a great job.
Why do you say that? Why do you have faith in Joe Douglas? Because there's a lot of Jets fans that are on the fence with Joe Douglas. So why don't you give your thoughts of why Joe Douglas has been doing a great job so far?
I think he's been doing a great job because the players he's picking up, they are some good players. And they all ain't maybe shooting off at the same time. But every week, 1 or 2 of them is always showing out some kind of way or fashion.
I agree.
My problem is if the coach got to get them all together, shoot at the same time. And I know that the defensive backs are young, but they are feisty. And them guys try hard. And I got one thing too. I know they don't play Nims, but the last few games I've been watching by Nims. He might not catch the ball that they want, or he might not run the route that they want. But he's one heck of a blocker. I seen him blocking on some of these running schemes. So even if you ain't going to him, he need to be in on the blocking because I seen him do some good blocking.
I agree. They actually announced that Mims will be back at practice Wednesday, so hopefully he can be ready to go against the Eagles because, as bad as he's been in terms of catching the ball in the routes, he's been phenomenal in the run game, and I couldn't agree more with you.
I mean, he do some good blocking, and I know some of the other guys are getting up to par. Injuries are getting back, and I just believe in Joe Douglas. I mean, I just got that feeling.
I am on the same mindset with you, my man. I feel like Joe Douglas has the right mindset to build this team for the future. I appreciate your call, King Jet. Anything you want to say before we get into the next caller?
I think we're going to win like 3 more games before the season over with.
5-11. Sign me up. I'm all for it.
And I'm good with it. And y'all have a great day. And go Jets.
Go Jets. We appreciate it, my man. Have a good night. All right, that was King Jet. Thank you for the great call. We got Coach O'Neal coming in.
Chill real quick. I'm on this thing. What's happening, fellas, on this Victory Monday, baby?
What's good, Coach?
Hey, I'm living live right now, man. I'm out here in Kansas City. I'm repping the great team.
Hey, love it.
Hey, I wanted to jump on this thing, man, because I was reading the stuff in the chat. I'm pretty sure y'all probably seen some of the comments I made. My first thought is, first, I think when we hit the offseason, man, we need to attack that secondary heavy. I mean, we have Bryce Hall. I like Bryce Hall, but we need to add some more pieces to that secondary to help us out on defense. That D line played lights out for us yesterday. Franklin Myers had me on the edge of my couch the entire day. Man, I'm happy we paid that man. And then the last thing I would say, and this is something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably would disagree with, but I am a firm believer. I really do think we need to, get Mekhi Becton healthy and then trade him off. Like trade him for some picks or for some other guys. Cause I mean, that can be a good sleeper trade that we can use. Cause I mean, he's done some good things for us since he's been on our team, but he can't stay healthy, man. And I mean, the guy's overweight. He can't maintain weight, and then injuries is going to continue to plague the guy. I mean, he's 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", almost 400 pounds. And I mean, with that type of mass, man, it's going to be hard to get your body back together when you're already broken and beaten up as is. So that was just my thoughts. I just wanted to jump on here, man, and
of course,
say that. And then also say, show some love to the Jets family all the way here in Kansas City, baby. I'm out here living it up today.
That's sick, baby. You're enjoying it. It's a Kansas City bye week, so now you get to run around.
Man, I've been getting hate all day about your Jets saying this, and I'm quick to say, if your team didn't win yesterday or didn't play, you have nothing to say to me until next week.
That's perfect. Well, you throw a lot of good questions out there. I think the first one you talked about was the defensive backs, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Jets defensive backs, that has to be a priority in the offseason. I think that Bryce Hall's proved to be a starter in this league. Brennan Eccles, he's been doing good, but I don't think we can say he's the starter next year with confidence. So if I'm the Jets, I'm drafting a cornerback high this year and maybe bringing in someone in free agency. I think that's definitely something they got to do.
I really like if we can grab Stingley from LSU, man. Hey,
the Stingley guy.
I might have to buy me another jersey, man. I got a custom made jersey now, but I would definitely buy another jersey if we pick that guy up, man.
All right, I see you. And then JFM, he's been an absolute monster, especially yesterday. I'm so happy he was finally able to break out after having a couple of bad games string together. And then your last point I want to get into, because that's definitely a big controversial topic. Big time one, trade Mekhi Becton potentially. That is something that, Jets fans were waiting to see what Mekhi is, because I think that we can say that when he's on the field, he's a good player. The problem with him is he can't get on the field because of his injury concerns. So, Ali, what's your thoughts about Coach O'Neill's take about Mekhi Becton potentially being a trade option for the Jets?
I mean, I know Joe Douglas would work the lines like a wizard, like he always does. But I feel like Mekhi Becton, if they somehow make it available, like him being a trade available, I think he would get a lot of offers. But I think being a Joe Douglas pick, I think he might keep him unless it's that crazy deal on the table. Especially when you're trying to build an offensive line. People are trying to look at Becton and AVT together, right? Those guys, we want to see them together and pretty much have that for 10 years. That offensive line, we want that, and we might get a center in the draft or whatever it is. So I think they're trying to just develop that. And I don't know if they would want to get rid of Becton just yet, especially with, I don't know when his contract is up. I think that's up next year. So I don't think they really want to get rid of that right now because they want to see how Becton and AVT can play together. We really haven't seen many games of them together yet. So that effectiveness of like helping the blind side of Zach Wilson is very important, and you need to have guys that you can trust. So taking rid of Mekhi Becton they're going to be thinking about that 30,000 times before they make a decision on that if they want to trade him, because he's such a piece that could dictate for the next 10 years for the team. So I really don't think it will happen, but if a trade comes on the table, Joe Douglas will take that. But but he loves draft picks. He loves getting more stuff back. But for right now, I think Mekhi Becton coming back and being healthy, I think he should be back hopefully in 2-3 weeks, hopefully. So we just want to see him back out there. He's a franchise left tackle. If you want to, like, he is. Like, that's what we drafted him for. So if we traded him away, I don't know how much. We probably would get a lot, but still, like the overweight that you said, all that stuff, stuff like that comes in hand too. So that's the draft stock goes down too. The picks goes down too. What you're gonna get back. So rather than just ride it out with him, because Becton's a fan favorite. Becton's a team player. He's a leader in the locker room. So you really don't want to trade away a leader, because the Jets have done that a lot, like in the past. Now bringing Demario Davis back, stuff like that. They screwed up a lot. So losing another leader off the team, I don't really think that's a great idea. But if they can explore it with a trade option, they probably will explore it. But I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, man. Coach O'Neill, you bring up a really controversial topic, and I'm happy that you came in here to give your thoughts. Is there anything else you want to say before we let you go into the new caller, my man?
Nothing, man. Hey, it was a great day yesterday, and we're gonna get another win next Sunday, guys. Let's go, Jets up.
Yes, sir. 2 wins in a row. Go talk your crap to all your Kansas City fans. We're coming, baby.
Yes, sir. We are coming. Jet up, baby.
Yes, have a great day, my man. All right, the next caller. What's up, Charles? Can you hear me, my man?
Yes, I can.
What's up, man? How you doing?
First off, Richie, before I get into the Jets, congratulations on your Mets for getting Max Scherzer. As a New York Yankees fan, I'm very happy about that. I think you guys are heading in the right direction with this new owner. At least I could say is at least this guy's not being freaking cheap like the previous owners, which really pissed a lot of you Met fans off. So anyway, I never hated the Mets, by the way. I know a lot of my friends who are Yankee fans do, but I never did. Anyway, yesterday was a good game. I was at work yesterday. Unfortunately, I could not watch the game. I work at my local Boscoff, so I was watching your highlights, your take on the game yesterday on YouTube. By the way, I think you do a really good job talking about the Jets, Richie. And I wish you the best of luck, my man. And I want to say is that I know there are some Jet fans that are shaky about Joe Douglas. To be honest with you, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I don't know why they are. I mean, Joe Douglas, if you go back in 2019, this man came in to basically clean up Mike Maccagనం's garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mike Maccagnan, excuse my fucking language, was a disgrace. I mean, he wasn't as bad as John Edzik, but he was bad.
Yes, he was.
He was very bad. And, after he drafted Quentin Williams, which I will agree has been a solid player for the Jets, I don't think he's quite that Aaron Donald type player yet, but I do think he's a good, very good player. I mean, that game against Tennessee, and I'll be honest, I know we've talked about the Jets, but I've been very disappointed with their offensive line this year because last year they were very good at protecting Ryan Tannehill. This year they've been getting him killed. And when the Cardinals played in the beginning of the year, Chandler Jones was eating them up like he was a hot dog or something. And then when we played them, their offensive line is big. I mean, you got Taylor Lewan, who's arguably one of the best offensive tackles in football, and we manhandled their offensive line with pure speed and strength. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, what the hell is going on with Tennessee's offensive line? But I think Quentin Williams has the potential to be a great player, but he needs to stay healthy and he needs to be more consistent. I do like his leadership. I do like the fact that he has passion for the game. I mean, that sack he made against Tyrod Taylor was just great. Tyrod Taylor, to me, is kind of like a Michael Vick style quarterback, but a more accurate and better passer, in my opinion. But, I mean, the defense to me yesterday against the Texans was, to me, their best defensive performance of the year. I mean, yeah, they played well against Tennessee, but they gave up 24 points. Derrick Henry's got his yards, which we all knew what he was going to do. And, we didn't really get a turnover, but in the game against Houston, we shut them out in 3 quarters. I mean, if you look at it, the first quarter, they were scoreless. Second quarter, they scored from 2 beautiful touchdown passes from Tyrod Taylor. Third quarter, they were scoreless. Fourth quarter, they were scoreless. I mean, the defense stepped up big time. I think Joe Douglas has done a very good job. I mean, look,
I agree.
He got the hit on every draft pick. I mean, I remember when we drafted Mekhi Becton, my dad's reaction was so priceless. Oh my God, I completely forgot all about him. Like every Jets fan on the planet wanted Wirtz. We want Wirtz. And said we got Mekhi Becton. And even though he hasn't been healthy a lot of the times, when he's healthy and on the field, he's a force. Don't you remember what he did against Aaron Donald last year on that 4th and goal? He destroyed Aaron Donald. How many offensive tackles can sit there with a straight face and say, hey, guys, I destroyed Aaron Donald? Not many people, because Aaron Donald makes offensive linemen look like ragdolls. I'll never forget last year watching the Cowboys and Rams game Aaron Donald's just throwing their offensive line like they ain't shit. And then we got this moose, pardon the expression, and Mekhi Becton, and he's manhandling people. When I saw the highlights of him in college, when I saw him playing basketball, when I saw highlights of him playing basketball in high school, I said, man, we got a hell of an athlete. He just needs to stay healthy. If you look at his size, what is he, like 6'7", 6'8", 364 pounds?
Yeah, something big fella like that.
He's like a Jonathan Ogden size, like, offensive lineman. And Jonathan Ogden was a beast, too, if you remember him correctly.
Of course. Yeah, man, I agree with everything you're saying. I think Joe Douglas is doing the right thing right now. And you brought up a great point about the Mike Maccagnan era, because Mike Maccagnan left this team with a mess. And Joe Douglas is trying his best to try to dig his way out. And what Joe Douglas is doing in a beautiful way that some Jets fans are so overlooking is Joe Douglas is trading away all of Maccagnan's guys that he does not feel has value on this team for the future. He's flipping them for draft capital so Joe Douglas can pick this team. And the goal that Joe Douglas had when he got here was to build through the draft. We saw the first draft, maybe it wasn't the best one. Like you said, you're not going to hit on every single draft pick. But we did get Bryce Hall out of that draft, which is a really big deal. And
he's impressed the hell out of me.
Yeah,
he's probably my favorite player in this Jets defense.
Bryce Hall has been an absolute sensation for this team. He's proved to be a starting quarterback for this league. And then we saw what the Jets did this past draft. We have so many playmakers all over the offense now and defense. I can get into this entire draft class. But my favorite thing about Douglas is he's trying to build a sustainable winner. And the way you do that is by building through the draft and not sacrifice, your cap flexibility for the future. He remains patient. And it sucks that we have to be patient in order to win this thing. But Mike Maccagnan and John Idzik are the ones to blame because they're the ones.
And Mike Tannenbaum to some degree.
Yeah, exactly. It's just been, regime after regime has been bad. And that's why when people are saying like, yo, we should just fire Joe Douglas. I'm like, what? Like, you need to give the man at least a couple of years, more than 2 years to see what he's worth. If you want to build through the draft, you can't build through the draft in 2 years. You need to get your draft picks. You need to draft the players, and they need to develop. And I feel like this Jets team is going in the right direction. So, Charles, Richie, I agree with everything you said.
Richie, my dad has been a Jets fan since Joe Namath.
Same.
Okay, man. My dad was 10 years old when the Jets won their first and only Super Bowl. My dad is 63 now. Okay, he's happily married with my mom and me and my brother. And, my dad knows a thing or two about football. My dad used to play football in high school. Okay? Wasn't a superstar or anything like that, but he played football. And he knows a thing or two that football is won and lost in the trenches. And
Douglas thinks.
And, for a lot of these Jet fans that want to get over Joe Douglas right away are, excuse my French, fucking idiots. It's the truth. I'm sorry, because they're impatient. I get it. We haven't made the playoffs since 2010. We haven't won a fucking Super Bowl since 1969. But we Jet fans kind of deserve this shit because the people we put in charge, the people that we put in charge to run this fucking team.
Dude, it is a nightmare. I feel like the Jets in the previous regimes are the biggest reason why we're setting ourselves up, and it's hard for us to dig ourselves out of the gutter. So, Charles, I appreciate the call. You had a lot of passion and fire. I see the Jets' passion in you, and I appreciate.
Dude, I've been a Jets fan since high school.
Yeah, me too.
My dad kind of made me a Jets fan. He didn't force it on to me, but I've been a Jets fan since high school. Let me tell you, I've been through the ups and downs of what it's like being a Jets fan. I mean, the ups was when we went back-to-back AFC Championship games with the Sanchez. Mr. Butt Fumble.
Yeah, we've all been through it all, man. And I appreciate the call. Hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Victory Monday.
And by the way, stay true to yourself, and good luck on your Mets.
I appreciate that, my man. Appreciate that a lot, Charles. All right, have a good night, bro. Appreciate the call. Well, that was Charles. He obviously had a lot of great points. A lot of people are, bringing up the front office. Ali, what was your take about him bringing up Joe Douglas and what they had to, because obviously there's some Jets fans are saying Joe Douglas might not be the guy. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it's mostly judging Joe Douglas after maybe next offseason and the following offseason. I just don't think the last couple of years he's kind of was, first of all, he was with Adam Gase, right? So he was picking a team with Adam Gase. I think he needs to start picking a team with Robert Saleh now. I think he still has 2 years with him that he'll be here. With Joe Douglas, I've seen a lot of people go after him. I just don't understand it as much. I really don't, because I think he's made some great moves. getting draft capital, getting guys, young studs on this football team. But now we got to see if he can find like gems in free agency. We know he could do a lot of work in the draft, but now we got to see if he can actually get some, legitimate playmakers on this offense, this defense, especially. It's just upgrade this team now. You have the young core. You probably will add a little bit more of the young core, but you need more than that, just a young core to develop a team. You need some veteran guys in there, some guys that you can trust, and if when the game's on the line, they can come in. So those are the things that he needs to go out and get, especially this offseason and next. But right now, I think, yeah, he said it perfectly, honestly, that he was clearing up Mike McCagnon's craft for the last 2 years. And now he's trying to build his own team. And I think he's building it pretty well. It's just going to take a lot of time. He's just trying to do it a different way that the Jets have never done, going the young route, not overpaying for free agents, stuff like that. So he's trying a different route and see if that works for the New York Jets. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with him. But I think his job is safe for a year or two at least. But I think it could be longer if he can hit this year's draft and this year's free agency and see immediate results, because the Jets could switch it up right away next year and be an actual good team if they make the right moves at certain positions. So, yeah, for Joe Douglas, I think he's done a great job. I don't think he deserves the hate that he's getting. I think he's done pretty well for what he's had done. But the quarterback position was a little bit of the backup situation where he gave a pick for Flacco. But there's always confusing things with the GM. They always make mistakes. So, yeah, I mean, I love Joe Douglas, and I can't wait until what he does this offseason.
Yeah, this offseason is going to be probably the best of Joe Douglas's tenure here with all the draft.
He has money. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of draft picks. He has a lot of work to do, man.
He's got a lot of works to do. You can't build this thing in one offseason, not even two. You got to be able to give this team time. And just imagine, we see this rookie class blossoming before our eyes right now. Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter II, even Brendan Eccles. Like, this is them as rookies. Can you imagine what they're going to be doing in year number 2? And hopefully Zach Wilson is the guy that can take that next step, because he's the most important piece of that entire rookie draft class. So, guys, that's going to really do it for the Jets live stream. If you guys have any other questions real quick in the chat, feel free to send them in. Maybe we'll get a couple more questions before we end off the stream, or if any other callers want to come in, feel free to do so. So, yeah, man, it's been a really tough season, to say the least. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, few ups. And I feel like when the Jets are losing, Jets fans just want to point fingers. They want people gone. They want a change reactively, and they don't really have a good grasp of, the longevity and the future of this team. And that's where my mindset is. Even going into the season, I understood where they're at. I knew the reality of this team and what they're trying to build sustainably. And I knew that it's not going to be an easy season with all the rookies and all the young pieces that we're playing here. And I feel like the Jets defense are taking steps. They got young pieces all over it, and the offense is making strides. And Jets fans should be pretty excited about the future of this team. I really genuinely believe that in my heart, especially with the way Mike LaFleur has been developing as an offensive coordinator. I feel like that's going to do wonders for this Jets team in the future, and I'm excited to see what happens. Amendola kicking next week. I sure hope not, Mark. He is terrible. Every time he goes out there, I'm like, oh, here we go. Even though he only missed one kick, but it still feels like he missed 10. But Amendola's got to go. Michael Carter II status, is he hurt? No, he's fine. Hey, Mitch. He returned to the game yesterday when he went down with that injury. He came back, played like a dog for the rest of the way. Shout out to MC2. Also, shout out to Javelin Guidry. He had a really good game yesterday. The Jets defense as a whole, Elijah Riley, like coming out of nowhere. Even Ashton Davis making some open field tackles. We can just go off about my thoughts about this Jets defense, because it feels good that we get a W because of the defense. That's supposed to be the backbone. That's supposed to be the identity of the squad. So, guys, that's going to finish off the stream. If you did not smash that thumbs up button, I would greatly appreciate if you do. Let's try to get this to at least 70 likes. If not, that's okay. Don't you worry. But, yeah, that's really going to do it. Ali, anything you want to say before we end the stream?
Yeah, let's keep this going, man. Hopefully we finally beat the Eagles this week for the first time ever. I literally so I go to school at Rowan and Philly's right over, like right there. So there's a lot of Philly fans here, so I really want the Jets to win this week. If there was any game that I want to win, it was against the Philadelphia Eagles. So hopefully we get a win this week. Hopefully we get Corey Davis, Denzel Mims back this week. I think that'd be huge for this offense. And yeah, I mean, just enjoy Victory Monday, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Enjoy Victory Monday. No reason to be pouty about yesterday, in my opinion. Enjoy this Victory Monday. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And thank you guys so much for all the continuous support on Jets Media. It means a lot to the channel. And make sure you guys check out my guy, Ali, over at Loyal NY Jet Fans. You know what he does over on Instagram and Twitter and his website, always posting great articles. So make sure you guys go check out my guy, Ali. And let's go Mets. Max Scherzer, baby. We here. All right, guys. Have a great night.